Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and it's time for part 3 of the Monday Q&A, but to this one I'm going to dedicate purely to questions on the Novice program, which I've started doing recently every week because it gets quite a few questions and I can lump them into one video. Alright, first question. How much weight should you aim to gain with flexible dieting on your Novice routine? As a pound a week, too fast or too slow? Well, I think everyone should be doing flexible dieting of some type. I don't advocate any other style of eating, so there's no need to even throw the flexible dieting in. Now, that being said, a pound a week might be a little too much. What I generally recommend on the Novice program on a bulk is a consistent 10% calorie surplus. And if you stall and do not gain weight for over 2 weeks, to go ahead and bump it up another 10%, which you're going to have to do several times. But the thing is, with a 10% surplus, if your maintenance is 2,500 starting out, that's only going to put you up 250 calories. If you're 3,000, it's only 300 calories. You're not going to gain a pound a week on a 300 calorie surplus. You might in the first week or two due to water weight, but once you've started gaining for a month, you're not going to hit a pound a week consistently on that. It's going to be closer to 2 to 3 pounds a month, and that's about ideal because you're not going to gain more than 2 pounds of muscle. And so worst case scenario, you're gaining 2 pounds of muscle for every pound of fat. And maybe even half a pound of fat with half a pound of extra water weight. That's a very, very good ratio. If you can hit those type of ratios of 2 pounds of muscle per half a pound of fat gain, that's considered phenomenal for people whose goals are body composition oriented. Because that means your dieting is going to have to be fairly minimal. You gain 10 pounds of muscle and only 3 pounds of fat. You can burn the 3 pounds of fat off in 3 weeks of cutting and go right back into bulking. So that would be the ideal scenario. It would be closer to 3 pounds, maybe even 2, depending on how fast you're gaining muscle and what your maintenance calories look like. All right, next question. I need to do push-ups and sit-ups for work. How can I work these into your Novice program? I would use them with something like Pavel Taussoline's Greasing the Groove. If you know you've got to do push-ups and sit-ups for work, do a lot of them on your off days. You can do them later in the day after your training session, but don't take anything to failure. If you're capable of doing 20 push-ups, don't do more than 10 at a time, but do them several times a day. Same with the sit-ups. If you can do 20 sit-ups, don't go over about 10. Don't go over about 50% of your max reps on these bodyweight movements and just do them frequently. And you will find that you will improve with them without impeding your recovery on the Novice program. And these are fairly minor movements, and as long as you keep them from hitting close to failure or getting that deep burn, they shouldn't affect your recovery. You'll be fine. Come in and do 3 or 4 sets of push-ups and sit-ups both every day on your off days, spread out. Just do them randomly throughout the day. With, again, maybe 50% of your max reps. It should be perfectly fine, and that will increase them enough combined with the Novice program that you'll be fine for, say, military or police test, which is generally the people who have to do these for their work. All right, next question. My barbell row is going up, but my deadlift isn't. It's getting to the point where I can barely deadlift the weight up. Why is my deadlift seeing zero progress following your Novice program? Because the deadlift is really hard, and because you do so much other work before the deadlift. If you do 5 sets of squats before you deadlift, as your work capacity is going to go up, it may not go up in proportion to that, and you're simply going to have periods to where the deadlift is going to stagnate, but all the other lifts are going up. But that's okay. Just do the resets, and there will be a gradual upward trend. And the thing to remember is that once you, at some point, let's say you want to specialize more in the deadlift when you're in the Novice program, all that size, strength, and work capacity that you built from all the large volume of rowing and squatting that I'm having you do will carry over into your deadlift. Those will generally correct the weak links in the deadlift. And then when you cut those back later on and you specialize on the deadlift, your deadlift will go up really, really fast. But the reality is it's a high volume, high workload program, and you're always going to have big lifts like the deadlift that are going to stall from time to time. And the deadlift isn't the biggest concern of the program. You only do 1 set every other workout. And it's done that way for a reason. I'm letting all the general build-up lifts build you up, and the deadlift is almost there as an accessory movement. So it's okay, just roll with it, and it will still get there. Everyone who runs the program eventually gets over 400 pounds for reps on their deadlift, so it's not a problem. Other than females, obviously. Alright guys, so that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it has been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time.